Like, we're talking Midwest, red state, COVID-denying mother.
Yeah.
That's the bed that has been made for you. That is the fan base that's been cultivated around your game.
I'm coming. Can I push? I can't.
Yeah, I know. This is Scott gets his all the time. By the way, obviously, as someone who's involved.
We've talked about the CDL a lot so far. We talked about last week how Envy and Optic, that crew, is taking over Esports Arlington Stadium. Well, they hosted their first event this last weekend, the CDL Kickoff event. And one of the cool things about it right off the bat is we had this conversation about, wow, it's kind of funny that the crew behind Esports Engine is the old MLG crew. The old MLG crew was bought by Activision Blizzard, but before that, they ran these console esports kind of as the god of them, whether it was Call of Duty or Halo. So it's kind of like a full circle of this stuff, right? Now, obviously, Microsoft has now bought Activision Blizzard, and we talked about how Esports Engine is hired to do Halo, so in a weird way, MLG is doing Halo again, even though it's not really MLG. But this one, again, they got announced. They're running the CDL. They did this kickoff event, which I think everyone kind of knew. They have been involved a little bit with Call of Duty. They weren't involved in the Overwatch stuff, which we thought was all really weird in the first place. Activision Blizzard buys MLG, then never really activates them fully as this huge event logistics monster they are.
They just wanted the fucking player, Scott. They wanted the MLG TV player to try and squeeze Twitch.
Crazy.
That's all they wanted.
Yeah. We'll build this big thing in Burbank, not hire any of them. Anyway, strange stuff. Well, so they hold their first big event. So this is great. Kickoff for the CDL doesn't affect the season. So a lot of the players were like, kind of a meaningless event, but you know, you shake the rust off of the LAN systems. You get everyone doing it. The game needs work, so you get the game on display. I don't know if we would have necessarily talked about this event other than, hey, we talked about Esports Arena, and then they showed up and did their first event. But then we kind of get into the drama of it, right? So their viewership was but where it gets kind of crazy, so here's your viewership numbers. Thank you, Esports Chart, as always. For
I mean, it's not, this is not good. I mean, sorry, even if you don't have any stakes,
to give some benefit of the doubt here, man.
This is...
Okay,
mate,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Mate, there wasn't even a competitive playlist in Call of Duty.
Am I event silly? Was that event silly?
Right?
Did I just pull event silly on this? Okay, I'm sorry.
This fucking, basically, this game released without, like, a functional competitive mode. Motherfucking Krampus is in scrims kidnapping people while they're trying to practice. This is the first showing of this game at an esports event, and you get 45,000 average viewers. This is dog shit, Scott. And it doesn't matter if there's no stakes. You get to see these, like, obviously, some of these teams are completely newly retooled, right? Optic Texas obviously changed the landscape in the CDL. Sorry, like, the peak viewers, 70, 80,000. Like, people are not doing that much these days, Scott. They're fucking sat at home. There's not even any other esports event to compete with them necessarily. Maybe because it's the same old fucking Call of Duty with the same issues. I mean, fucking hell. Merc and Maven weren't even here for this event because they're into some contract fuckery right now. So, I mean, say what you like. I mean, it's great to have, Esports Engine doing what they do best, like they, like people should be paying them to. But this is not a good omen at all for Call of Duty this year.
Yeah, I guess I was reading maybe too much or more into the fact that they said it was, not for really part of the league. So it's like not necessarily a show match event, but like in the sense of their franchise league, it doesn't have. So yeah. Now, does this go back? Let's talk about this a little bit. Does this, because we didn't chat pregame. Remember we talked in a couple shows ago about Nadeshot and Hector both bitching about the lack of the next version. Are they in this weird window that no one gives a shit about this, and then they're not really making a lot of content about the new, and like their BR is in a fucked up spot, and like no one cares to watch? You think like it's a big Call of Duty issue on our hands in the sense of like this gap, and we just got to wait for this other game to drop?
All right, Scott. Let's play a guessing game. Let's do a thought exercise.
Respect, Heart, by the way.
Before today, how recently do you think that the broadcast people got given the version of the game to be played for the CDL? How long ago do you think that build was made available to Esports Engine and the people running the CDL?
Not very long ago.
Just.
Oh God, I don't.
Fucking like last week,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
yeah.
Last week. So like this is a thereabouts, right? I mean, I've got sources, right? But thereabouts. Like the organization is just absolutely awful over at the CDL, and like it took them. I know right now they are putting out 4 alarm fires. I don't know if it has anything to do with the huge slowdowns we have with Activision Blizzard productivity as a result of all the stuff that's going on lately. Just trying to ship, Vanguard in like a playable form in time to keep up with this really aggressive schedule that we have, that Activision have for the release of this game. But like, it's all fucking slapdash, mate. Right now, it's and this is someone who I take Activision Blizzard money on the regular, mate, and I'm telling you, it's a fucking nightmare. And I can only assume that like internally they're fucking running around like crazy right now just to try to make this whole thing happen. So yeah, I think it's compounded by like fairly poor viewership. Like it's only a $30,000 tournament, but I don't know. Something doesn't quite seem right to me. It's like you're using the Arlington Esports Arena, right? Like you're putting on an esports event. It's the same setup that you get for majors, I assume, for Call of Duty. Well, you put 30K up. Guess what, Scott? A tier 2 Valorant event last week called the Knights Valor Rampage. It was a $30,000 prize pool. You're getting dicked down by tier 2 Valorant with barely fucking broadcast coverage.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't give a shit. You can't do this. You can't do this shit.
Yeah, that adds a whole new level of shit. Like in the sense of like, because we've already talked about the various issues with how COVID hit these franchise leagues, the spend of them. But if the game itself, and I often wondered, like, did this BR Warzone, did it just turn so much of the eye of Call of Duty fans away from like this world of pro competitive formatted Call of Duty that they don't care anymore because this is the new Call of Duty, this Warzone shit? I guess it'll be interesting to see when the league does start up, if we get any sort of spike. But based on what you're saying, that ain't going to happen.
I mean, you're assuming it's like a zero-sum game. It's like one or the other, right? I think Warzone's been really successful reaching like an FPS BR player base, right? But it's also been rife with like cheaters and all that sort of stuff. And now I mean, we talk about Raven Studios later on, but like who knows how, the future of Warzone is going to be affected by what's going on internally at that company.
Yeah.
I don't think you steal viewers away from Call of Duty, but I don't think because they have esports as well at Warzone. They have like the World Series of Warzone and stuff like that. It's very popular amongst their audience. So no, I don't think they took viewers away from COD Esports, but COD Esports, Scott, is the same shit every fucking year. Slightly different game.
Oh, for sure.
Players are complaining about having to try and be pro COD players when what is in their hands is this not quite finished build of Vanguard. And year after year, it's sort of the same shit for these guys.
Yeah, I mean, and the difference, because I think about Counter-Strike and I go, it's the same game, it always has been, but the difference is we don't get a slightly fucked up version every year or every couple years by different developers putting a spin on it and having to fix it every time.
Back every release.
Yeah, I mean, we barely get anything, let alone any sort of new version. So yeah, again, I guess we'll keep an eye on the numbers. But we're not done with this story, because this is where it actually gets into the COVID conversation earlier. So Clayster, very popular player himself, goes home, tests positive for COVID, and then, starts tweeting about it. And as it turns out, really not a whole lot of, it seems like a follow through on some rules and procedures. So obviously the players start tweeting about it. He tweets this, obviously, what they went through as players. Remember, you got players, staff, and fans are kind of involved in the event. This was an open event. There were fans there. And it just seems like, again, he caught it. And in all the tweets I read around it, it seemed like he was, of the players, like one of the ones being the most fucking cautious and the most diligent, wearing, because the players were kind of in their own little bubble. So like when they're on stage, they don't all wear masks. He was wearing masks on stage. Like he was being extra cautious, right? And then now you got Envoy jumping on, also kind of adding to this, like, hey man, no masks were being, worn. They're right in front of us again. Esports Arena, front row is 10 feet from that stage. And then right up there is the people. So Again, and then so a breakout. And obviously, a lot of people jumped on them saying, hey, man, you went to a LAN. What do you expect? It's 2022, COVID. You're going to get it. A lot of back and forth on the idea of COVID and regulations and all those kind of things. So I wanted to look at and see. Go ahead. You go ahead first.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, like, we talk about what the follow through was on like COVID policy. The COVID policy in the first place was like really loose. How about your fucking COD players just unionize and prevent this from happening? You fucking guys. Don't give me the excuse of Scump won't join the union because it doesn't help him. Look at this shit. This was already like laid out well in advance, Scott. Okay, if you're experiencing any of the symptoms, don't come to the venue. Right. Well, what if you have asymptomatic COVID, which is absolutely a thing? So upon entering the venue, the only restrictions or guidelines you have to fulfill are wearing masks and attest that you are not experiencing the following symptoms. Not under sort of risk of fucking perjury or anything like that. Just tell the nice man that you don't have any sniffles.
But that's going to get you...
This is fucking Texas, mate.
Yeah,
you can't,
this is Texas.
I don't even think you can mandate this shit. You can't even mandate fucking vaccinations. You know what I mean? And they're saying to wear masks, but I've seen the footage, mate. I've seen the footage from the event. These guys' masks are like falling off. They are literally covering their chins. Like, it's just another case of like hordes of people who just don't think they need to cover their nose because they're worried about their VO2 max dropping. Like, absolute utter morons. Sorry, and you know what? Like, can I be honest, Scott? All these COD guys are so shocked about their fan base not giving a fuck about it. Like, all these COD people in the replies are like, no, it's just a cold, bro. No, don't worry about it, bro. You're being soft. And they're like so shocked. I'm like, this is your fan base. Your game is being marketed at like the lowest common denominator of gamer. Like, we're talking Midwest, red state, COVID denying motherfuckers.
Yeah,
that's the bed that has been made for you. That is the fan base that's been cultivated around your game. So don't be shocked when you have blokes with shit sunglasses and fucking trucker caps in every profile picture telling you you're being a fucking pussy because you're complaining about COVID. This is your fan base, Call of Duty players. These are your people. Fucking do something about it if you don't like it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what you're gonna change about this.
Yeah, and so they did respond today. CDL put out a statement today, which basically I think it's doing a couple things. A, it's trying to say, hey, we did our thing. We did what we were supposed to do. They take no culpability in anyone getting sick. They say they set guidelines. They followed them. They kind of lay out what it was like to be a pro. So I think in that sense, in the beginning here, they're kind of back channeling against what Clayster said about only having one test given, yada, yada, yada. So I don't know. He said, she said there. Biggest thing about this one, though, and I'm kind of blind, so I got to get close to this, but they talk about mask mandate, right? That they did require all fans to wear masks. They had signs and all this kind of shit, right? Well,
yeah, okay. Wear them where? On their fucking elbow?
Can we roll the footage of all the fans all wearing the masks in the front row and everywhere else?
Yeah. Let's see all the mask wearing.
Because, again, you have to have policies and then you have to enforce them. If the policy was no big fucking TV cameras in there, they would be grabbing those cameras and saying, sir, you can't have your big video camera in here filming for ABC Sports without a press pass. So, like, again, they obviously did not have people actively walking up and down the aisles telling these people mask up or kicking them out, right?
Envoy is literally saying, here's what he's saying. Staff not wearing masks properly.
Yes.
Talent going to the fucking crowd and taking photos with fans. So, like, you can blame the fans all you want, and we I'm sure we will. But, like, they're not the only ones that are just not adhering to this. It's like, Scott, a bunch of people just got fucking bored of COVID. They just got bored of it. They said, you know what? No, COVID's over.
Yep.
I don't want to do this anymore. And, like, how am I supposed to go and work Overwatch League events knowing that they're basically the same company and this is what their policies are? Like, why would I want to go to do an event in Texas knowing that there are just no controls for this kind of stuff? So, I mean... Jason, do we have B-roll footage here of like the actual event itself? We do, right? We have like stuff from the CDL of like people cheering. We roll that. I mean, I think this is okay. Well, we're digging it up, so we'll have it. But I understand that Clace is not happy about it.
Okay, let's don't even play it yet. Don't even play it yet. So
I mean,
front row. And, this is the esports arena. There's probably 300, 400, 500 people maybe in this thing, rows of 20 or 30. First three guys, I didn't see the little guy there in the back. First three guys, no. I mean, I guess you're wearing a mask. You're not wearing
Well,
it
this
at
is
all
just,
where
it's
it
just
should
not being
be.
enforced.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like the fans should do it, but like at the end of the day, I look. I've been in a few countries, and one thing I've noticed about the US is that if people can get away with small stuff like this or stuff they think is small, they will. You know what I mean? Like
They needed
these
to
people,
you needed
no
to
one is coming
Alamo
up to them
Draft
saying,
House this shit. Have you ever been to an Alamo Draft House, Mitch, for a movie going
I
experience?
don't think so.
So they have a really, really hard and fast rule that like your phones are off, you're not distracting, or we're kicking you the fuck out of the movie. They put it all like everyone knows it. It's a fucking thing. And that's what they needed to do. They just needed to grab some of these fuckers and go, put your mask on. Tell them twice, third time, you're gone, literally in front of everybody else off that front row. Everyone goes, oh, fuck, puts their mask on. Because you don't want to not watch. But if you're not going to enforce and everyone sits there all weekend and sees you not enforcing, you fucking lost the fucking battle plan, man. Like, what are you even doing at this point, right? So, and I wouldn't feel bad if they didn't set the rule. If they would have said, hey, we're in Texas, we're not even going to mandate masks that you wear them or make them optional, then it's like, okay, well, now everyone is risking on their own. They had a rule. You had to wear a fucking mask, right? I got to wear a shirt, right? I got to wear a mask, right? I got to wear shoes. If you're going to make the rules, enforce them. I know it's a pain in the ass. I know that security doesn't get paid enough to tell these kids with their game fuel fucking induced fucking hazes to mask up. But, like, then people get sick, right? Yeah,
sure.
It's very
I think look, someone's obviously in the chat is mentioning, you know, I've obviously like completely characterized the COD fan base as being like one type of person, which is just not reasonable, right? Like it's just tongue in cheek by virtue of it being just completely impossible to say that with a straight face, right? In general, though, like I've seen what the community around Call of Duty is like, and I can see what like the prevailing opinions tend to be. And it's dead right, in fairness, to say that this is like a lack of enforcement, right? I think this game appeals to, you know, a certain subset of people. This is a personal anecdote. This is just a result of me looking at people that are interacting as well. So I guess it's a combination of people that like COD and people that interact on Twitter, and like there might be a whole subset of people that are completely reasonable. But you know, if I was a player, like I would be pushing back against my team, saying, "Hey, you guys are putting us in danger here, by, you know, essentially forcing us." I mean, obviously, they're being paid to play, but they're like, "Hey, can we not just like, you know, try and ask for some better conditions here?" Like, they probably have HEPA filters in there or whatever, but the players should be able to collectively try and, you know, set a standard here and say, "Hey, we don't feel comfortable at events where like this isn't being enforced. So fucking do it somewhere other than Texas." Well, you know, that fucking state won't mandate masks or vaccines. Like, it might be more expensive, Scott. You might have to abide by more, you know, more stringent regulations. Like Valorant has managed to make events happen, right? They managed to do esports, so to speak. Without a crowd, to be fair, but I don't know if it's worth it. And I don't blame these guys for speaking out, but I really would like them to get together as a, dare I say, you know, group of players, a union, and go, "Hey, we don't want, like, why are we being put in this position?" You know, if they disagree with how the fans are behaving or how the masks are not being policed or whatever, then, you know, I have to think, Scott, they have some ability to sort of put their foot down and do something about this. I fucking hope so, at the very least.
Well, yeah, and
these guys are. I've never seen players that are more critical about the league they play in than Call of Duty players, right? They're very outspoken. They're not afraid to, you know, make it known if they're unhappy with stuff. So maybe take it a step further and actually, you know, behind the scenes, try and make something happen there to give them a safer environment.
And I think their two favorite talent, Merc and Maven, were so outspoken that they might have outspoken themselves out of a job too.
No, I mean those. Okay, so I mean that's a whole different thing. But like Maven is the highest paid esports talent in the world.
Yeah. But they're also very outspoken. So I mean, it goes along. Like they're very outspoken about the product. We're not talking about them not getting hired.
Talking about their specific.
No, they're also very loud about the bullshit of their game. Now, whether that really had anything to do with them not getting hired, or yes, it's a budget cut, could be both probably. But they're not. They're obviously not bending over for the chaos that is the CDL either. Much like you speak out about Overwatch League, right? You don't couch out.
Well, I do
a little bit.
Like I do, mate. But what happens when, to feed my family, I have to go and fucking do what they say? Like when this season starts and I'm on a 2-year contract, like it's all well and good for me to sit here on this show and be like, fucking don't do what they say, you know what I mean? Fight the power. And then be like, well, you want that salary? That's your main source of income? Then fucking do what we say. It's like,
well, I think that's a valid point too, because this is not
be transparent about that.
Because it's one thing if you threw an open tournament in Texas and any Call of Duty team could just go, like an old CPL, an old open tournament, because then the risk is on the teams and the individuals. Hey, guys, we want to go compete in this tournament in Texas. It might be dangerous. This is a closed league function. Clayster could not go to this event. Those teams could not attend, right? This wasn't an invite, right? So, to your point, what the Counter-Strike players have done with their PA during COVID, you know, you can say a lot about the PA and where they've tripped up and stuff. That's all well and good, but they are an organized player base. That the one thing they have done really fucking well is work with TOs about COVID protocols, right? And adapting them. And they were very tough in the beginning. And players tweeted about it. Can't leave the hotel, no gym, nowhere to go smoke. And slowly with conversations with TOs, you go, okay, what can we do? What is safe? What country are we in? And you have these behind the scenes dialogues that try to find the, first and foremost, safety, and then a humanitarian compromise between quarantine times and playing. And obviously, you know, Riot has struggled with how they dealt with it, their events. You know, Call of Duty is not doing well with their shit, right? Now, Unified Player Voice, at least, and I know these Call of Duty guys, some of them have been tried for years to organize, right? And tried to get them under something more formal to push this
voice.
You
have to get everyone interested, Scott.
It's tough. Yeah, I mean, and we've talked about it. Like the North American-based leagues have the best shot at it because they all play in a U.S.-based labor law system. They can lean right into a story we're going to talk about later about Raven and unionizing and the labor boards and how it works in this country. PA, like Counter-Strike, can't do that. It's an international thing. TOs everywhere, but CDL can. Overwatch can, LCS can, it is. Anyway, so I love when you bring that kind of shit up. Now, I don't think these Call of Duty players will ever organize because too many of them don't care about the future of their game, and you need to care.
Are you sure? You don't want to run another protection racket, Scott?
I don't run any of them.
Another one,
Time out. I don't run any of them. I'm coming fucking... Can I push? I can't fucking...
Yeah, I know. I love this. This is Scott gets this shit all the time. By the way, obviously, as someone who's involved in the PA, doesn't fucking own it, doesn't run it, but yeah, I'm fucking with you. Yeah, listen, I don't know, man. Like this is not, and I don't think this is limited to Activision Blizzard. I think that they're trying to make these events happen, and they need to kind of make these events happen. It's just a really bad time, right? It's just a bad time to be under the umbrella of that company, dealing with all this sort of stuff, and it's. To be honest with you, it's just yet another, difficult event. Now, Scott, this doesn't. First of all, obviously, I made a comment about the Call of Duty fan base. It's a broad generalization.
Dude,
you have to let me go on that one.
We were so close to landing the G Fuel sponsor. You fucked that all up.
Fuck him. Fuck that shit. Now I don't like that shit anyway.
It's over.
We were. The reality is that just a shitty viewership for this event doesn't mean that the league is fucked, right? But it's just not a great start. And even if there's no stakes, it's the first look at the competitive mode in Call of Duty, because I think prior that wasn't even in the fucking game. So, it's a big deal. And it's not sort of, the viewership isn't great. But I'll say, look, Halo is having the same problem, Scott. You know what I mean? As a game that comes out to a lot of fanfare and then its viewership, its player base, they fall off a fucking cliff. Go look at the numbers now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it was fueled by nostalgia, but there's definitely lingering questions about the HCS and about just Halo as a competitive genre going forward. So it might just be a sign of the times, but not an easy time to be involved in the CDL. And then you've got obviously their two most beloved broadcast talent that are saying, I mean, we haven't come to an agreement with the league. We haven't got terms that we can agree to. It looks like we might not be there right now. It's really frustrating, and so I think for the league, they need a W. They need a W so fucking bad, because right now it's it's just CD and everyone else has taken the L. You know what I'm saying?
Hey-o! Dad jokes, early dad jokes. He's too young.
I stole it from Twitter.
Beautiful. Oh, you did? Okay.
I'll be honest with you.
Fair enough.